furious world leaders are done with Donald Trump. They are cutting deals behind his back. For example, France, they were just able to send a container ship through the Strait of Hormuz. It appears they cut a deal with Iran. France blocked a United Nations resolution that would call for the invasion of the Strait of Hormuz. Also, French President Emmanuel Macron has denied Donald Trump use of French airspace and of any military base in France, joining Spain and Switzerland and Austria and Italy and many other countries denying Donald Trump access to airspace and military bases as Donald Trump rants and raves like a lunatic. Also, Japan was able to send a ship as well through the Strait of Hormuz. We've been talking about this here in the MeidasTouch network. Seems like Japan either cut a deal using Russia or Pakistan as an intermediary with Iran, or Prime Minister Takaishi of Japan cut that deal directly herself with Iran's President Pezeshkian or with other leadership in Iran. We're seeing the Philippines posting about their bilateral negotiations with Iran in order to access the Strait of Hormuz. We're seeing the Gulf Cooperation Council, the GCC, who are very much embroiled in this war. They believe they were protected by Donald Trump and the United States security umbrella. All those quid pro quos, those pay-for-play schemes where they were funneling money to Donald Trump directly and Donald Trump's family in crypto or real estate endeavors or to Kushner's private equity fund or whatever. They've been making statements that have been a bit more conciliatory to Iran, signaling that they are getting prepared to enter bilateral negotiations with Iran. And then I'll talk about this in a little bit, but the United Kingdom, they've been organizing meetings with dozens and dozens of countries throughout the world to try to talk with one voice in order to open up bilateral relations, or in this case, relations generally with this group of countries and Iran, so that everybody can negotiate with similar terms with Iran controlling the Strait of Hormuz. In essence, Iran has now been very much legitimized on the world stage. Iran has never been more popular, never been more needed, never been more involved in these types of communications with other world leaders, as the United States is this pariah state. I would say a North Korean-like regime, but I think that lots of countries view Kim Jong-un of North Korea as a far more rational actor than Donald Trump and this despicable Trump regime. Let me just go through the data points and the receipts with you piece by piece. I know you probably don't hear this anywhere else. It's certainly not on American media. If you put some of these pieces together in international media, you can put this puzzle together. But whether you like it or not, this is the truth. This is what's happening. It's why the MeidasTouch Network has been ahead of all the other coverage out there. Do me a favor, hit subscribe. Help us get to 7 million subscribers. We're so close. And please subscribe right now. You may think you're subscribed, but you may not actually be subscribed. So here's what we learned. A container ship signaling French ownership just exited the Strait of Hormuz. It appears to be the first known transit by a vessel linked to Western Europe since the war all but shuttered the vital waterway, Bloomberg's reporting. Iran has set up a toll system in the Strait of Hormuz, charging about $1 to $3 per gallon of oil, per barrel of oil, rather. And then you have them working with Oman as well. Oman used to be the mediator between the U.S. and Iran, picked by the U.S., but U.S. betrayed that mediation and rushed to war after a deal was reached. U.S. and Netanyahu went it alone, didn't consult any other countries. So you have that happening. Now, there's kind of a cause and effect here. What was France doing behind the scenes? Well, in the United Nations Security Council, France worked very hard to block, as a permanent member, it has this ability to veto or block any resolution that would call for an invasion or a military force to control the Strait of Hormuz. And if you've been watching what French President Emmanuel Macron's been saying, he has not been taking crap for Donald Trump, and he's been calling Trump and the United States out. Macron's been in Seoul. He took a state visit to South Korea, and he said, let's be clear, France, South Korea, we should not be passive in this new disorder. We have to build a new order. Very strong words right there, elegant words. We should not be passive in this new disorder, right? The Trump disorder out there. We, these countries that are like France and South Korea, they're not superpowers, but combined, they can flex like a superpower. He also says, there is room, French President Emmanuel Macron says, it's what he just said in Seoul, South Korea. There is room, a space to build new cooperation between Korea and France in order to have such an agenda shared by Korea and France, and bringing with us other Europeans, Canada, Japan, India, Brazil, and Australia. You start having a sort of third way, those who don't want to be dependent on China or aligned by definition with the United States. And he further elucidates on that, and I'll tie this all together in a moment too. He says, our objective is we must not be vassals to two dominant powers. We don't want to depend on the dominance of China, and we don't want to be too much exposed to the unpredictability of the U.S. Note the language that he uses. Like an actual diplomat, Macron's very careful with his words to signal not disrespect for China, recognizing China is the dominant player in the world right now, and that they're not the cause of disorder, that the United States is the cause of disorder and unpredictability. And it is for France to join forces with other Europeans, Canada, Japan, India, Brazil, Korea, Australia, and there could be this third way. We all join together and we work in an orderly way together. That's the best way we could be strong. I'll give a hat tip to Prime Minister Carney of Canada because he's been working very hard to unite. Remember, I've been talking about this Trans-Pacific trade deals and security arrangements with transatlantic trade deals and security arrangements, bringing it all together and really creating, I think the way I've described it was a connect the dots, where you connect all the dots and the U.S. is isolated, alone, stewing in the misery of Trumpian chaos.
All right, fellas, real talk. Spring cleaning is here, and before you pretend that your kitchen is fine, go look at the pan you've been using since college. If it's warped, burnt, or smells like regret, it's time. Spring cleaning isn't just closets, it's getting rid of cookware that actively works against you. If your pan makes cooking harder instead of easier, that's not you. That's bad cookware. That's why I'm obsessed with Hexclad. I'm not kidding. These are hands down the best pans that I have ever used. The first time I used one, I was like, oh, this is what cooking is supposed to feel like. You get a real sear, heat control is perfect, and cleanup is stupid easy. They basically combine stainless steel and nonstick into one pan. So you're not choosing between performance or convenience, you get both. And unlike those old nonstick pans that scratch and fall apart, these are metal utensils safe. No babying, toss them in the dishwasher, wipe them clean, done. They're oven safe up to 900 degrees. The handles stay cool, and honestly, once you use these, everything else feels like a downgrade. And there's a reason that Gordon Ramsay uses Hexclad at home and in his restaurants. And that guy is the toughest critic on the planet. With over 1 million customers and 50,000 5-star reviews, the secret is out. Plus, they come with a lifetime warranty, so this is it. You're not buying pans again. Don't go through another spring using the same busted pans that you should have thrown out years ago. For a limited time only, our listeners get 10% off your order with our exclusive link. Just head to hexclad.com/Meidas. Support our show and check them out at hexclad.com/Meidas, MEIDAS. Make sure to let them know we sent you. Spring clean your kitchen the smart way with Hexclad. Again, Don't wait. Don't go through another spring using the same busted pans you should have thrown out years ago. Head to hexclad.com/Meidas and upgrade your kitchen now.
Macron also says in Seoul the following. He goes, look, let's be clear. He said, Iran's a bad regime. No discussion about that. I disagree with them on a lot of topics. Notice the language. It's a disagreement is how he frames it. But I don't believe that we will fix the situation just by bombings or military operations. Look at what happened with this type of operation in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya. We never delivered, never, even after 20 years. So you have to respect the sovereignty of people. If people want to change a regime, they want to react, step up, they can do so, is what he says. Moreover, French President Emmanuel Macron called out Donald Trump as well. He said, we must be serious. And when we are serious, we do not say the opposite of what we said the day before. Perhaps we should not speak every day, Donald. We should simply calm things down and build lasting peace. 6 months ago, we were told by the Americans that everything had been destroyed in Iran. Everything had been settled. Clearly, that was not the case. Without international inspectors verifying materials, research, and hidden sites, it is simply not serious. Then he goes on to say regarding the Strait of Hormuz, opening it by force, it's not the option we have chosen. We consider it unrealistic. A military operation to reopen it would take an infinite amount of time. It would expose forces to immense coastal and ballistic risks. From the beginning, we have said it must be reopened, but only in coordination with Iran. The world cannot live with a strait that can be opened or closed overnight. But notice the language he uses, cooperation with Iran. It's the same type of language that we're seeing out of the Philippines, where over here you have their foreign minister or their top person saying, productive call today with Iran's foreign minister, Araghchi. Building on recent talks, we reached a positive understanding on the safety of our seafarers and the security of our energy supply. Grateful for the warm spirit of cooperation. Warm spirit of cooperation. I mean, contrast that with Donald Trump continuing to attack NATO, to threaten Greenland, to threaten Canada. So much so that Kirill Dmitriev, Putin's top guy, top envoy, sovereign wealth fund guy who hangs out with Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, he's been posting, goodbye, NATO. See you later. I'll point this out as well quickly. French General Mikhail Yakovlev mocked the Trump administration's plan to build a runway inside Iran to extract uranium and fly it out, calling it unrealistic. American officials should stop snorting cocaine between one meeting and the next, this French general wrote. Remember, I talked about Japan as well? Look, even in the South China Morning Post, an outlet of the CCP, they're out there also acknowledging that Japan has been cutting deals directly with Iran. It talks about how in addition to the French container ship, a Japanese-owned tanker crossed the Strait of Hormuz as well. Japan's Mitsui OSK Lines confirmed on Friday that liquefied natural gas tanker it part owns also crossed another first. And you can see how methodical Iran is being with it. Iran realizes that Japan's getting very low on LNG, and it needed that to survive. And so Iran's not letting too much through. It's very meticulously letting just enough LNG to keep Japan around to negotiate bilaterally. It's like Donald Trump rants and raves like a lunatic every day. No plan. It's whatever Donald Trump. Oh, I'm Donald Trump. It's why he's bankrupted so many things. He's bankrupted this casino, that company, this casino again, right? If there was a Guinness Book of World Records for bankruptcies, in my opinion, he'd basically be leading that. And you see why. You see his pathology. You see his disastrous decision-making, right before our eyes. I mean, he's making posts like this one day. The next day, he's asking for help. NATO, help us. The other day, he's saying, all those countries that can't get jet fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz, like the United Kingdom, which refused to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, I have a suggestion for you. Number one, buy from the U.S. We have plenty. Number two, build up some delayed courage and just take it. Go to the Strait and take it. You'll have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help you anymore, just like you weren't there for us. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done. Go get your own oil, DJT. And And then Donald Trump was posting all day yesterday, it's going to be our oil. We're going to take our oil, right? Now, the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC, their Secretary General, look at the tone that they're using. The council desires to establish normal relations with Iran and reserve all security issues transparently. Gulf countries will take all measures to protect their sovereignty and the safety of their territories. Now, in addition, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of UK, says that the UK will convene 35 countries to discuss the diplomatic and political measures needed to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, and UK military planners will meet as well. The unspoken implication of the focus on diplomacy is that if and when Trump walks away without reopening the Strait of Hormuz and without a deal with Iran, then Tehran holds the cards and will be able to negotiate terms with Western and Gulf countries. Many would conclude that scenario would leave Iran in many ways in a stronger international position than before Trump's war, a remarkable outcome. So what the UK was trying to do, at least, to say, let's all agree what our terms are going to be with Iran when we negotiate with Iran when Trump abandons us. Do you see what's happening right now behind the scenes? And all the while, Donald Trump is just attacking our former allies. I mean, here he is attacking French President Emmanuel Macron, and just like the evil guy he is, Trump attacks Macron's wife, makes it very personal, and so Macron's like, okay, that's what you're going to do. Don't ask for us to help you. Don't ask for our country. Don't ask, what are you doing? Play this clip of Trump attacking Macron recently. Let's play it.
Easier than I thought. Then I call up France, Macron, whose wife treats him extremely badly. And he's still recovering from the right to the jaw. And I say, Emmanuel, we'd love to have some help in the Gulf, even though we're setting records and knocking out bad people and knocking out ballistic missiles. Would love to have some help. If you could you please send ships immediately? No. We cannot do that, Donald. We can do that after the war is won. I said, no, I don't need after the war is won, Emmanuel. Many of them said, we'll be there after the war is completed. And so I learned about NATO. NATO won't be there if we ever have the big one. You know what I mean by the big one. We ever have the big one, hopefully we won't. Relationship's very good with the big one.
So there you have it. Let me know what you all think. Hit subscribe. Again, help us get to 7 million subscribers. We'd be so grateful if we can get there together. We appreciate you. We're grateful for you. Thanks so much for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.